What's up, everybody? Circus here coming at you with this week's Power Rankings video. I'm excited. Are you excited, Kamal? We got some new entries on the list this week, as well as some
I
old
am
ones.
excited because a lot of the new cards we've been getting, they're finally hitting the meta.
Is it true that you hate photons? That I just heard that in the grapevine.
I hate photons!
All right, if you guys are new to the series and you don't know what we're doing here each week, we track the tournaments that are going on in the community, and then we watch and see how the decks perform in those tournaments. And then based on how they finish, we assign them points, and then we rank them. It's pretty simple. So if a deck gets a first place finish, it's going to get 6 points. A second place finish is 4 points. A top 4 is 2 points, and a top 8 is a single point.
That's right, Circus. And to keep the power rankings consistent, all of the tournaments that we track have to have the same format, that being rounds of Swiss into a top cut, and the deck format being one deck and a 7-card side where you can side in skills. And the tournaments that met the criteria this week were the Battleface Series, the Meta Series, Ruby League, Mamaker Cup, and the Yami Cup. Shout out to Yami Trapped.
Seriously? Or, you know what? It's the exact same tournaments as last week. So that was kind of
It's
cool.
very good that,
Yeah.
those community tournaments are staying consistent. Good
Yes,
to see them.
good to see him. Yep. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. Lots of changes on the power rankings this week. So let's get right into it. Let's go.
We're number 5.
That's gonna be game. Harpy, lady swooping.
Okay, so maybe we lied. Coming in number 5 again for the second week in a row is Harpies. Trust me, there's different decks further down the road, but Harpies, a lot of people saying they're junk, but they're still here and they're still, scoring some decent points.
Yeah, Harpy's unable to pick up a tournament win this week. Very strange that their representation in the top 8 this week seems pretty slim past the top 8. Only having 2 finishes outside of that. This 30-card deck list, again, I think this is going to be the winning list. However, of course, this week they didn't get any wins. But
Right.
When you are up against, those longer grind game decks, 30-card list does come in handy. This deck, the Battleface Thursday finalist list, lost to Yosenju's.
Yeah.
And it was simply because they were unable to establish early game monsters because the
They had all their
30-card deck
techs.
is terrible against Yosenju's. It's funny how that worked out, right? People usually play a 30-card version, they lose against a counter. But
we saw that in Tri-Links a lot. Remember, we saw -1 was playing a very similar list, and he bricked every game he played with this deck.
He bricked every single game. The 30-card deck is good and very, very. It's very situational, but when it pops off, it pops off.
But otherwise, it takes too long. And if you're playing against resonators, they're gonna have their turn 1 play no matter what, right? I mean, there's nothing you can do. So.
Not too much is changing for Harpies. Either list, 20 or 30, is doing just about the same right now.
Honestly, though, this is my favorite deck in the meta to play still. I just feel like there's more you can do.
Yeah.
I know the other ones are pretty linear. Now, I'm not saying they're bad decks. Settle down. Stop your circus.
Circus.
I just think, there's a lot you can do with it, with the text, and you can make multiple plays, whereas, other decks feel more linear. That's all. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a look at
number 4.
Swing, 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 a swing. Yosenju, take it.
All right, here we go. Finally, something different on the power ranking list. Look at this. 2 wins this week for
2 wins.
Brosenjews, as we call them on rogue decks.
Brosenjews.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
This is one of the best weeks for Brosenjews in the history of Duel Links, right? I don't think they've won 2 tournaments in a week probably ever. So 16 people played the deck.
16.
Wow, dude.
2 tournament victories, yeah.
People, and 2 of them won tournaments. 19% conversion rate to the top 8. Absolutely crazy. And this is partially in part due to the fact that Yosenju's has many, many, many good matchups right now. And a lot of these meta decks just lost access to Heichunade. And Yosenju's is a back row deck that only needs to utilize a couple cards on the field to maintain card advantage. And when your opponent loses, very good options to take away that card advantage from you on the field. Brosenjews are in season. They don't need cards in the field to win the duel. They can have them in their hand, on the field, in the kite right in the grave. It doesn't matter. And they're
until they play Gaia, and then it's all over.
Yeah. We'll talk about that because, let's mention it now, right? Gaia, a deck that does not allow battle phase hand effects to be activated once their boss monster is on the field, will definitely hurt this deck if that deck continues to see the amount of play that it is. It is Yosenju's worst matchup. Doesn't let them play past the main phase, so they're definitely going to have to,
that's tough.
Alter their strategy
because everything's in the battle phase for them, or mostly everything. I mean, you can play Sting in the main phase, but
it's going to make them, a lot more back row reliant instead of hand trap reliant. Which, depending on how you feel, but I think that is better. Dealing with back row is better than being forced to deal with hand traps.
Right. Maybe they'll start playing some floodgates or something like that.
Like how the deck was originally played. Very heavy back row.
Right. All right, let's take a look at number 3. And I think Kamel may have given us some spoilers there. We'll see here. All right. You going to do the thing?
Number 3.
There we go.
All right.
Apps in chat for ninjas. They're done.
Okay, coming in number 3 is Herf's favorite
Gaia.
deck. Gaia of the... What? What are they? Where are they from? The Hinterlands?
The Hinterlands.
No, where are they from?
I don't know where they're from, dude.
Oh, okay.
They're from Sogan, the field spell, dude. So Gaia is finally here on the power rankings. Grucius with the first tournament win. His Meta Weekly win, followed by a Battle Phase Saturday win after 129 people played the deck. So it has gotten very popular after its first 2 weeks. People have seen its strength as just a battle phase rundown deck. If you make it into the battle phase and your opponent does not have any defenses set up, you are gonna be victorious. So top 8 conversion rate at 8% this week, and a pretty healthy amount of finishes at 3rd place. And we just got finished talking about how this deck beats the crap out of Yosenju's. But, Gaia, it can have a pretty tough time. Decks that just regularly run massive back row removal, this deck is going to have a very tough time with dealing with that.
Well, this deck is kind of linear, like I was talking about, but at least with this one, like he can jump off his horse and then jump back on and stuff like that. Whereas like resonators, they can't do that as much, right? It's just kind of like you disrupt their play and they're like, all right, I'll get you next turn. I got 10,000 life points. What are you going to do? Right. Whereas like, I feel like Gaia can like dodge a few things.
Yeah, I would say with this deck, it is quite tech reliant.
Okay.
I will say because you do have access to your main combo pieces regularly through the field spell, the skill. You do need to be seeing Chalice when you need it. You do need to be getting rid of back row before you set up for your play. You do need to be, Book of Mooning your opponent's passive effect monsters that are going to stop your Curse of Dragonfire from activating. So I will say that while your monster core is really reliable, it's always nice to see those. You just want to open just as much as you need, because some of the other combos in this deck are really great. Like Gateway to Chaos into Galloping Gaia is so powerful. Being able to get your full combo plus Soldier Gaia, your boss monster set up with protection, and if you get other back row on that, you are in for an indestructible couple of turns. To be honest, you're going to be that far ahead. Another thing about this deck list, people are using Dragon's Mirror as the optimal way to get out multiple fusions. It's faster than Necro Fusion. It can be activated, straight from your hand. It's a normal spell, and it gets you your Gaia the Dragon Champion. So Dragon's Mirror, very nice.
Yeah. We'll see how they do going on into the future, and if they take first place, we'll have Herf on here as a special guest with a hat. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you'll see when it happens.
Oh, you'll see. Love the hat power rankings episodes. We haven't had one of those in a while.
No, we haven't. We haven't gone on a limb for a while. So, all right, guys, we're gonna take a look at number.
And number 2.
There you go.
Man, who cares about it? No one cares about this, right? Does anyone care what's happening on the screen right now?
All right, number 2, same as last week, believe it or not. I think it's the same points too. When I was doing the graphics, I think they had scored the exact same points, or very close,
Wait a second. Something's not right about this deck. Something's missing.
Hey,
What is it?
Trunade.
That is right, guys. Automats, after we heard of their nerf losing Hate Your Name because it is now forbidden. Of course, the deck already lost ready access to it because they had to play it with 1-1 and sister, but people were still doing it. But now the option is completely gone. You can no longer play Hate Your Nade, so people are opting for either Second Sister or Treacherous Trap Hole, as you see here.
You can just hear them in the secret Automat Discord. They're probably like, TTH is way better. Why didn't we do this before?
They're like, yeah,
this is great.
Put it TTH. They were like, huh? Like, holy.
Did you know this card can take out 2 of your opponent's monsters? That's crazy. Why didn't anybody say anything?
Automats are actually just extremely good right now. They have great matchups into most of the meta decks, and they don't have many bad matchups. And because of, I mentioned last week, because of the way the skill is played and the deck has changed, one card comebacks are very, very frequent with this deck now. Just being able to top deck Gaga Head, swap out some cards, use your graveyard, have Dodo draw, Gaga Wind. These cards are huge high impact late in the game if you're able to, utilize them correctly. A lot of people just play into Automats haphazardly because they think, oh, I know their strat. They are just going to Photon Strike Bouncer me, Malevolent Sin me. But you have to take very close attention to all the cards in Automat's hands because that's their biggest strength, right? Them searching cards, drawing cards, special summoning from their hand, special summoning from their deck, from the grave, and then you losing track of the amount of resources they have and, using your removal before they're all out of gas. And then you're assed out.
Well, I think like this deck used to be like, I want to go second and I want to have Hatronade. Now it's probably like, I want to go first and have TTH.
I want to go first, have TTH, Photon Strike Bouncer, set my MSTs. I want to have everything going first. So Automats truly has grown. It's a really versatile deck now, no longer just a simple OTK deck.
Yep. So maybe it makes them stronger in the long term. All right, we're going to take a look at
number 1.
Hot Red Archfiend Bane is lethal.
All right, here we are at the deck I've been ripping on the whole time. I'm sure there's probably people already. Why does Circus hate Resonator so much? What's the best deck? Isn't he building that on Saturdays in his free-to-play account? Circus. No, come on, guys. I'm just using it as an example. This is still a pretty good deck, but you see them playing a mono Iwado now as a tech. And why is that, Kamel?
Simply because you negate all monster effects on the field, bro. Just if you
it's great.
If you don't open optimally, you just say to your opponent, yeah, you can't play. Like your combo's not gonna work this turn. Sorry. Or if you have, another synchro monster that's not your red dragon, whatever you want to go into, you can put a mono Waddle in the field and say, hey, your hand traps, they're not going to work this turn.
Right, because most of the time you're not using your normal summon, or you can do a lot of your combo with never using your normal summon, and then at the end, oh, by the way, a mono Waddle. Right, and then you attack.
Last week it was Stratos in the Plasma. This week it's a mono Waddle. This, however, was very popular in the KC Cup. Just straight up being to say no to all of your opponent's active effects is very powerful sometimes. And you can, with Chalice, you can negate your own Amano's effect so it won't bounce back to the hand in the end phase. So it'll stay on the field for the next turn and then negate all your opponent's effects on their turn. So they won't be able to play. So
And in other
That is a
Resonator
very-
decks, I noticed like the back row stuff, the spells and traps is a little messy at times. This is a really clean list.
Yeah, this is super clean. Exactly what you want. 2 Book of Moon, 3 MST, 2 TTH.
Yeah, it's nice.
Very
I like it. It
clean.
looks good. I feel like you have more consistency with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Resonator is just clapping everybody right now.
Yeah.
What would
Of course, people expected a hit for them, but I was saying even though I wanted a hit for this deck, it's evidently not one that they think is oppressive right now. They may
No.
even look to power creep this strategy with just added cards to the game that attack chain special summoning or
right?
something of the like, because this deck heavily revolves around that, and there's not too many options in the game right now that multiple decks have access to play against that.
Because this deck
feel
does
like-
have choke points. You just have to learn where they are. I don't think it's super
Yes.
oppressive. It's just it's an easier deck to get. It's the new hotness, and why not?
Yeah.
So
So resonators will be they will be best deck for the foreseeable future,
mhm.
for the next couple months at least.
I expect representation to go up because I know this isn't exactly free to play. I know it's got Book of Moon, settle down, but I mean you can build a pretty decent free to play version of this deck.
Yeah, and it's a pretty safe deck
Yeah.
to build as well. We just passed a ban list. It did not get touched on skill rebalancing or the ban list, so
Yeah.
that's huge. The skill is very strong too. Surprised it did not get rebalanced in any way.
Yeah, so you're probably gonna see the representation of this deck go up quite a bit.
Mhm.
All right, guys, let's take a look at all the other stuff that happened here. Overall representation this week, pretty close actually, right? I mean,
Yeah, very close. Very, very close. For Gaia almost surpassing them. Gaia's Resonator matchup, I want to say it's 50-50. They can really steal games from Resonators. Their chain special summoning does not do them much against Gaia.
look at the top 4 decks though. I mean, remember Blue Eyes? We'd have like Blue Eyes with like what was it, 395 people playing it that one week. It was something crazy, right? It was almost 400
Yeah.
people. We got 4 decks with over 100 people playing it, so that's pretty good representation. Pretty well balanced. It's pretty spread out, and it leaves a lot of room for these other decks to get in here that we're seeing, like Witchcrafters. Blue Eyes, Yosenjus, all those.
It's
get a chance.
another day in the healthiest meta in all of Duel Links Circus.
Yeah.
That's what I keep telling people. Like, Duel Links has never been as good as it is right now.
Right, but we should nerf
Never-
all of it.
Right? It's never been this fresh. So let's move on. What do we got next?
Top 8 conversion
Witchcrafters.
rates.
Right.
Witchcrafters.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Witchcraft. And this is true. There has been a Witchcrafter uptick.
Yeah.
As of late, just because Madame Veer can negate all monster effects on the field and boost up your monsters in the damage step. Most decks lack damage step effects. Witchcrafters have both, and they can stop your effects. So
Yeah.
pretty nice.
All right, top 8 finishes for the week. Of course, Resonators and Automats, Gaia, Harpies. It's pretty much how everything played out. The only surprise would be the Yosenjus that only had 3, but 2 of them were tournament victories. So that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good, dude.
Overall, these were the scores for the week. It's actually pretty spread out. Resonators, Automats,
Yes.
Gaia, and then everybody else. And that's we can come back to this list if you want, but that's basically how the tier list is. Resonators, Automats, Gaia, everybody else.
That looks so funny, dude.
Well, if you look at it, they're each like 10 points apart, right? 47 to
Yeah,
37,
and
37 to
mhm.
27. To me, that those would be tiers, right?
Yeah, I do want to say that does line up with the amount of the performance. Decks like Harpies and Thunder Dragons have fallen off drastically in the last couple weeks.
Yep.
Their strategies, their decks not containing enough active removal on the field, them relying on monster effects a lot to get things going. So they are not doing as well right now, especially when the top 3 decks, the best counter to them is like really explosive removal.
Yeah. So there you go. I think that's pretty representative of what we saw last week. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you still happy with the meta? Are you happy with this tier list? Let us know. I can hear it already.
Did you wish the ban list affected the power rankings more? Because I don't think it's going to.
No.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
pretty
The
much at
Hate
all.
Grenade one? Get out of here.
Yeah, no way.
Get out of here. But let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to get in our Discord. You know why, Kamel? Because it's free. The tournaments are free. The new player help is free. All that kind of good stuff. We're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Kamel.
Peace out, guys.
And we'll see you next time.